Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, boys and girls, to our tens of listeners and watchers out there. Welcome to another 10-minute take here on the TCAD network. It is I, one of your co hosts, Don the Legend Chambers, joining you from sunny and warm Southern California, also out here enjoying this drought of a million years. Is my intrepid co-host, Ms. Sheree Stewart. How are you doing, Ms. Stewart?
I'm doing good. I don't leave the house, so I have no idea what's going on
Well,
outside.
it is hot and dry.
Is
Hot
it? Is
and
it now?
dry. Yes. Yes. Don't let whatever little rains we might have got last year fool you. It is still a perpetual drought going on out here.
It's been
And
a
it's kind of
drought
warm. Yeah.
since I was a child.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah.
still happening. But you know what? Doesn't matter. Because we are back and we're at it again. And this time, the movie we shall be talking about is Spider-Man, No Way Home. But before we get into that, never forget, hit that like, hit that bell, and subscribe. Make sure you are doing that so whenever we post any of our 10-minute takes or anything else, you are notified. Now, to break with tradition, because we are wild and crazy like that, we push the boundaries. Starting off this time is going to be Miss Stewart. Miss Stewart, the floor is yours.
All right. I'm gonna hit the timer and I'll go. So today we're talking about Spider-Man: Far
Yes.
From Home, directed by John Watts.
Is it Far From Home or No Way Home? I thought it
No
was
Way Home. No Way Home. No Way Home.
Yes.
The first one was Homecoming. The second one was Far From Home.
Far
This
Home.
is
No Way Home. Yes.
Starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, with Marissa Tomei, Willem Dafoe. I keep wanting
Don't
to
forget
call
Ned
him
now. Jacob
Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx.
Battalion.
Yeah, like everybody's in it. Alpha Molina, like everybody's in it. Everybody, Crumbly Buns, Bandersnatch, like everybody's in it. Like this movie has it all.
Yes.
It is the marveliest of Marvel movies that Marvel ever marveled to Marvel. Like they marveled the shit out of this movie. They really did. It should be dropping really soon on home video and home release.
Whoa. Sorry.
Just in time for our shenanigans, even though we probably saw this a long time ago. I kept trying to go see this in the theater and it just kept not materializing because that requires me to leave and that's hard to do. So I finally saw it in the theater, no less, like a real human theater going person that I used to be. But now it's almost ready to leave the theaters. And it's a shame because it's definitely theater worthy. I'm just going to drop that here off the top. It is 100% worth the theater. Tom Holland is so good in this. It definitely felt to me like a finale of sorts. And it was very bittersweet, like his journey and his arc and his becoming Spider-Man. Although I do feel like, well, I mean, and that's Tom Holland and that's Peter Parker making bad decisions. And because I feel like there was a much easier ask to get out of this situation than the one that he wound up doing and the sacrifice he wound up making. There's some fantastic cameos in it. Or more than cameos, like it was just really well-rounded movie. There's like some nice hints that Ned may be able to, do magic.
Yeah.
Like there's like some really cool stuff in there. I don't know if they're going to do another Spider-Man movie. I could see this being the last one with Tom, like this version of Spider-Man. Like I could see this being the last one, which is super sad, but what are you going to do? It had kind of a bittersweet ending. It closed off a lot of threads and tied a lot of things together. It left some things open, but it left him open, starting a new chapter of his life and wherever that life might take him. But it definitely closed the chapter on him being a child and now he has to be a superhero and an adult. Um, so it was really sad. Like, but it was Marvel movies definitely have that extra emotional punch that a lot of these other superhero movies, Warner Brothers, I'm looking at you, don't tend to have. Like
And
they have all
Sony.
the action, they have Sony, geez, they have all the set pieces, they have really great actors, but they don't have the storyline, maybe, or the direction. They don't come at it from a human movie. They look at it as we're making a superhero movie, not
Mhm.
we're making a coming of age story about this kid who has to learn how to be an adult and make adult decisions after making terrible mistakes. And
Mhm.
actually have consequences for those mistakes. But yeah, I would say that this movie, I would put it at it's definitely worth a movie ticket. It's definitely worth a full price movie ticket.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, I don't if you didn't have the money to spend on like full out opening night IMAX, all of the Jimmer jams, that's not really necessary. It
Mhm.
is one of those movies that I could see watching multiple times at home.
Oh yeah.
It's worth the expenditure of time, if not so much like the extra expenditure of money. And since we're doing numbers now,
But you don't have to. That I
I
do
would
it.
say
You don't
I'd
have
put
to.
it at a 7. I would give it a 7.
Okay.
I didn't like it as much as I enjoyed the Batman, but I do tend to like my movies a little bit darker, a little bit more bleak. Um, it is easily on the better end of the scale of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that we've gotten.
Mhm.
It's easily on like the better end of the spectrum than the worse end.
Oh God, yes.
Um, like their movies are just getting like they're very consistent and they know how to make their hot dogs. Um,
Yeah.
they got them Costco hot dogs like down.
They have them nailed. They're
All
good.
right,
They're good.
Mr. Chambers.
At me, I could go into all the detaily things that I like, but look, it's if somebody wants to say I'm a Marvel fanboy, then so be it. Like to me, Marvel hasn't missed on any of their movies. I mean, some might be more enjoyable than others, but none of them are like a swing and a miss. Like like the movie totally didn't get the point. They all get it. This one absolutely is way on the better end. I I love everything about it. I loved everybody they brought back. I loved. Okay, spoiler alert at this point. I love them bringing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back. I thought the interactions with those guys was awesome. I loved the humor in this movie. I loved the stakes that ended up coming up in this movie, um, and especially I think in the stakes, I think the loss, the what I saw as the two losses in this movie that made it such a, like you said, such a bittersweet and kind of sad at the end, the loss of Aunt May and the loss of his girlfriend and best friend, because what he does in the end is now they've forgotten who he even is. He's just another stranger to them. Seeing that, seeing those losses, I was like, oh, I mean, it's almost classic Spider-Man. He just can't win for
Just can't
trying.
catch a break,
Right.
man.
Just can't catch a break. And that seemed to be another one. And it was like, oh, it was brutal, but it felt right in the sense of that's like that's Spider-Man. That's in all his stories. Like
Mhm.
he just can't seem to just have that normal, plain old life now.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's there's so much great, Marvel stuff going on in here. They brought back everybody,
Mhm.
from the other Spider-Man movies that weren't even under the Marvel tent, which was awesome. And I mean, I had a great time. I never thought about how long the movie was. I Nothing distracted me in watching this thing. I was like in it.
It was
It
long too. It just didn't feel long.
didn't feel it. Now you're right. It
Mm.
sort of had a finale-ish kind of feel to it. I'm almost positive it's not. Now it's going to be it's the last Spider-Man within this phase, I think, until it,
Mhm.
as how they do it, every character sort of gets their own. You have the big movie and then you move on. But I have no doubt Spider-Man's going to pop up probably in whatever Avengers type movies at the end of this phase. And then he'll have,
Maybe nobody knows who he is.
listen, but it's going to happen. And then we'll move on. This is absolutely worth the opening ticket is worth watching multiple times when it's at home. Um, if I like my numbers, it's a solid hardcore like 8.5, because it's just good. It's like
Mhm.
a really good time, and I'm giving it an 8.5 because it almost kind of, like, you can go back to like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans and like the Tobey Maguire, in particular, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3. And this movie can kind of wash away all that bitterness you had for those movies. And you're like, okay, I can now look at them with fond. Remember when Sony tried to do a movie? Boy, that was hilarious.
I
And,
like it gave them closure too. It gave those characters closure that
exactly.
they didn't get before
And
in
so
different
you,
ways.
you don't look at those with disdain anymore, or like
Mhm.
you can sort of be like, it's okay now.
Mhm.
I've come to grips with those, and it brought those characters in, and man, hopefully if they can find another way to bring them back somehow, I think it would
Mhm.
only add to just the amount of fun, because the scene with the three of them, I laughed a couple times that I didn't think I was going to, 'cause it was kind of funny.
Yeah, they had
Yeah,
a lot of good jokes, a lot
a
of
good joke.
humor.
Great movie, awesome movie. Please, nothing more I need to say. Go see it. It's a guaranteed good time.
It's a
Okay.
guaranteed good time. You know what else is a guaranteed good time?
What is? What?
Watching the 10-minute take or listening to the TCAT 10-minute take wherever you listen to your podcast.
You're right.
Or watching it on the YouTube and liking and subscribing and hitting the bell and doing all of that jibber jabbers so you can get all these 10-minute takes as they drop. And you can find us at the TCAD Network, tcadnetwork.com, where you can find all of our episodes of the TCAD 10-minute take. You can find evergreen and backtrack episodes of the TCAD podcast, where we talk about all kinds of other stuff, not just movies. You can find links to the Good Morning Antioch, which is the sci-fi crazy comedy in space.
Yes, it is.
We got the reading.
Yes.
We got a lot of stuff going on in the pipeline.
I don't have enough fingers for all the stuff.
Not enough.
Yeah,
so go to tcadnetwork.com where you can get the links to all of the stuff. And I don't know what's coming out next. I don't know what we're going to talk about next. It's guaranteed to be something because movies have not stopped.
No, and they're on and popping now.
Yep. We've got like Moon Knight coming up on Disney Plus. What else do we have happening?
You know what I think
Morbius is coming up pretty soon.
There's Morbius, the Adam Project on Netflix.
The Adam Project on Netflix, I did watch that. There's a few things that I kind of want to talk about too on Netflix, and we can get back to some of those. We have some stuff coming back, like Boys is coming back.
Yep.
There's just a lot of content out there right now. So
a lot.
We'll be back to talk about it.
Yes. So
until next time.
Yes. Remember, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
See ya.
See ya. Chaotic.
That's it. See, I like that.